Good evening, I love cats who under us. So, another year and another season of Aggretsuko for me to analyze on my I Love Cats 200 account. So this year, when I was watching it, I took notes this time over every episode. Actually, no, not every episode, because I stopped taking notes on episode 7. So actually, there's going to be a few gaps of information in this analysis today, but I think it'll be all right. I mean, I'm not too concerned. This is going to be a full-on. I'm going to talk about everything in the season up to episode 7, and then it's going to get kind of weird. But just know, this is going to be a very spoiler-heavy analysis. The season did not have a strong start. Not even a little bit of a strong start. In fact, actually, I was pretty worried at the beginning because I was thinking, are we really treading the same fucking ground again with fucking Haida and Risuko's relationship? Because if you've watched the other 3 seasons, you know every season there's like a will they, won't they kind of shit with fucking Haida and Aggretsuko. At the beginning of the season, I thought there was just a lot of retread, and I think what they could have done better at the beginning. It felt like filler. It felt like, oh well, let's just do this again so we can actually have the actual plot. Which the actual plot of the season is good. It just felt like the first couple episodes were just filler, and they didn't go anywhere. Anyway, moving on from that, the main story of the season was good. If you haven't seen it yet, a new character gets introduced, and the first time you lay eyes on this character, you already know, like, you can already feel what this guy's gonna be like. He's like a dog character with yellow eyes, and he looks more detailed than most characters, and he has like really an intense stare, and it did really feel kind of tropey. Like, this guy, he just felt kind of very like you knew what his character was going to be like the moment that he said his first sentence, and I feel like that was kind of not good.
What do you think is the most important ability for the head of an organization? It's the power to discern those who are obedient and those who aren't.
And his character went exactly how I thought it was. Like, he was very determined, kind of scummy, a bit of a fucking douchebag. I mean, overall though, it's like he was a different character. He wasn't like a retread of a previous character, I thought. So I mean, I guess that's good, but also at the same time, he was like a walking fucking anime trope. So the basic plot is this guy becomes the new CEO of this like company, and I don't know what the fuck the company in the show actually does. I don't know. Like, I know that they work in the accounting department, but I don't know what the idea, like what do they make? What do they produce? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Thank God it doesn't fucking matter, because that'd be really boring. So episode 2, the current CEO of this company fucking collapses during like a jog or something, because he's like 60. And he's like, wow, okay, I don't know if I can be CEO anymore. I mean, I'm getting kind of old. Hey, let's let the fucking anime guy do it. So Anime Dog, which name I'm never gonna remember, he becomes CEO, and all of a sudden he just starts pulling like the most egregious shit. Like, day 2 of being a CEO, he tells Tone, the department head of accounting. I actually wrote a note about this because he said accounting brings in no profit. Yeah, no shit. That's not their job. Their job is to keep numbers. I don't understand what he meant by that. Accounting brings in no profit. No. So from that, he tells Tom, like, hey man, yeah, you gotta like cut back on employees. And Ton, being Ton, he's one of my favorite characters in the show, next to like, I like Rashimi, but Ton is up there. He's like, no, fuck that. No, I'm not doing that bullshit. Anyway, so from there, he gets demoted, or he kind of gets demoted, but he gets put into a different department head. But it's some like bullshit department, which name I can't remember. and he's like, yeah, here's your new office, and it's like some like storage unit, it looks like, with like a desk. And Ton, he's like, wow, this blows ass. And that's just the first thing the CEO does, is kind of like iffy. So now Ton is working in this fucking storage unit, and he's like, I wrote a note about this too, because I thought this was pretty fucked. So episode 4, and at this point, you know, you're still getting that like Rasuko and Haida like relationship development, which, you know, it's like, who gives a shit at this point? It really, like, who cares? But Tone, now working at this new department, and this got really fucking heavy for like literally 30 seconds, and then it never gets addressed, and nobody ever like talks about it in the show. Tone is like going to work, and he's going on a train, and he sees this train coming, and like it zooms into the front of the train, and I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was like him contemplating suicide, which I thought was really, really out of left field for this show, because like it's not supposed to be, I mean, it's serious at times, but putting something so heavy, or as Ton fucking thinking about killing himself and then just never talking about it, I thought that was weird. So moving on from that, the accounting department needs a new accounting head, and it just becomes some character that's never been introduced. I don't actually know what his name is or anything. He's kind of a douche. But the hippo character, I guess she's also a main character, her kid gets sick, like has a fever or something. The new director's like, yeah, no, you can't leave. you gotta stay here. I don't care if your kid's sick, bitch. Anyway, that just culminates in the hippo resigning, because the hippo, who's been a character since season 1, is like, wow, this director fucking blows ass. I'm out of here. Which actually, doing that kind of helped the new CEO, because he's already trying to cut back on the accounting department. After the hippo resigns, Haida's given like a task from this director, I don't know, some accounting bullshit, and turns it in like really quick. And the director's like, well, you go over these numbers again. But then, of course, the CEO is like right behind Haida, and he sees that, and he's like, oh shit, okay, how'd you do that so quick? He's like, yeah, I got this program that I've been using that like sorts it out. And my first thought was like, Haida, why, if you have this program, why don't you give it to other people? Like, you made it, didn't you? Why is nobody else allowed to use it? Just you? I feel like you're kind of fucking over your peers a little bit, but whatever. So the CEO sees that he has this program, and he's like, well, okay, you're the director now. like, okay, I guess. Haida is now the accounting director. You know what? Let's actually back up a little bit. Because there was one part of the season that I didn't really understand too well. And it was when Haida and Retsuko, because Haida finally fucking grows a pair of fucking balls, and he's like, hey, Retsuko, hey, I like you. Let's fucking, I don't know, get together. They actually do for about 5 minutes, and then it ends. Like, there's like a dating scene where like they're like out in some, looks like a country club, and that's it. It never comes back. And I think what they were trying to do was like show how Haida and Retsuko were in a good relationship for like a little bit, but then like Retsuko started seeing like flaws in the relationship, and then it came to a head when he became the department head, and then all of a sudden it was like Haida got consumed by work. One thing that this season did good was make a main character that's been in the show since season 1, Haida, into like a villain almost, or like kind of like becoming a villain. You know, a very Hunt Down the Freeman-esque twist there. And I thought it was pretty good how they did it, because it wasn't like it's not like he did like really evil stuff. He did it because he thought, oh well, the company could get improved by this, so I'm going to do this action to make the company look good, and thereby helping everybody else. But really, he's just kind of getting manipulated by the hot dog CEO that we've been talking about. But you know, so moving on in this plot, now Haida is the new CEO, not CEO. Haida is the new department head of the accounting department, he starts making some changes, such as getting his own office. So if you know, usually Tone would be in the front, and then like you have like the desk. They get into it. You know what? Who really gives a fuck? But now he is separate. So like, here's the office where they all work in, and he's like down the hall in his own room that has like a key card. Retsuko starts getting kind of suspicious. She's like, why does he have his own office? Why is he being so secretive about the stuff that I'm turning into him? And like, what's his fucking deal, pretty much? And they figure it out after a little while. It gets into like a whole side plot where Tone, after being put into his new department, now he works at a convenience store. But after that, after working at a convenience store, he's like, wow, this blows. And then Retsuko's like, hey, come work with me. I got a YouTube channel. Do you want to like, not collaborate, but do you want to be my like accountant in this YouTube channel? Because we're about to start selling merch. You know, I mean, that was a good plot point, but you'll see at the end, it doesn't really make a difference. Felt more like just a reason for Tone and Retsuko to all get together and then like find out what's going on with Haida. It felt kind of contrived, I guess. So getting into like near the end of the season, we have Haida as the department head, as we established, but the CEO is manipulating him into doing something called, I guess, window dressing. I don't know what the fuck that is because I'm not an accountant, but I guess what it is making your numbers seem better than they really are. So like how much money you're taking in or putting out and all that, and like making it look good, but I guess realistic. And Haida has the real numbers, the unfucked numbers in his like some red flash drive. Retsuko sees that. She's like, oh, okay, so that must be where, and, you know, Tone, the reason that they even know that is because Tone's like, and Tone being the department head for like 15 years is like, yeah, this is not right. So something's going on here. And so they all go into like a Mission Impossible style mission to take this red flash drive and be like, well, let's just take this red flash drive and then we'll fucking see what the real numbers are, and then we can call out Haida and then what, get him fired? But we'll see. Through all this, Retsuko's talking to Haida on the outside and being like, hey, like, we have an idea of what you're doing, but like, we don't really want to like fuck you over for the rest of your life because you're committing a felony. So can you like not? And the weirdest thing happened where when Retsuko goes to Haida's house and says that, but like Retsuko's like being like, hey, yeah, you can't like manipulate numbers and fucking like lie, you know that, right? And then Haida says something along the lines of like, this is what being an adult is like, Retsuko, you don't get it. Because apparently in Haida's head, being an adult means committing fraud and just lying to boost profits of a company, breaking the law. Apparently that is what being an adult is. It's just breaking the fucking law. And once he said that, I'm like, Haida, you're a dumbass. I don't know, man. All right, so at the end of the season, they get the red flash drive through like a series of like I said, Mission Impossible style missions, and they're like, okay, Haida, you either fucking, you have the evidence that you're committing crimes, you either stop doing this or we're gonna fucking turn you in. And then Haida's like, okay, and he goes to the CEO's office, and this part was kind of odd, and maybe one of you people know exactly what the fuck this was about, but he goes into the CEO's office and he's like, let's arm wrestle. And the CEO's like, okay, I mean, I will, but I don't know why. And so they're arm wrestling, and I thought this was very odd, but this is a very odd scene in general. But Retsuko comes in and then like basically dragon shouts like a force, and it throws Haida and the CEO out of like the fucking 50th story of the skyscraper. But you know, luckily they fell on a fucking window cleaning thing, and the CEO breaks his leg and then quits. Or no, actually no, he doesn't quit. The other CEO is like, hey, actually I'm coming back, and it was like, okay. So the old CEO is back despite him saying that he's getting too old. for some reason he decided to come back anyway. Doesn't get explained, doesn't matter. Anyway, so he comes back. The dog CEO, the main character CEO, is like, wow, I'm done with this shit. Because that actually, like, happened in the story. Aggretsuko came in and basically threw 2 people out of the 50. First of all, you could have killed both of them. Like, the fact that that window thing was there, that's just dumb luck. You could have killed 2 people easily, which is, I don't know. It's just one of those things in a story that, like, it's typically a surprisingly grounded story for the most part, but you just have shit like that just happens, and I feel like it's like whiplash, and you know, it's just like, again, it feels kind of contrived a little bit, but you know, I still like the show. So at the end of the season, Tone comes back. He's in fucking department head. He's the old CEO, came back. Pretty much everything goes back to normal. Literally 100% of everything goes back to what it was like at the beginning of season 4, except Haida quit. And so it just felt like not a lot of shit actually happened. And you know what I mean? Like, it felt like this, I mean, it happened, but it didn't really have much an effect on the story. And you know, I just kind of felt like there was, you know, I think it would have been better if Tone didn't come back and like Aggretsuko and Tone kept working for each other, and that would be like Tone's new position. Him coming back as a department head, I just felt like was kind of going back to status quo too much. But you know, I mean, it was all right. You can't really complain about it. You know, it didn't fucking, like, it wasn't egregiously bad, but also it's like, now that Haida is gone from the office, it's just like at the end of season 3. When season 3 ended, I was like, what the fuck are they gonna do with that? But with here, it's like, what is season 5? Like, are they just gonna tread the same old ground again, or like, what are they gonna do? But you know, I guess we'll see in a year. Good season, but weird, very weird. It was, overall, the season was kind of predictable at times, and you could kind of see what was gonna happen well before it happened. Characters, especially the dog CEO, felt very flat to me. But overall, I liked it. It was a good season. I'll rate that out of 7 out of 10, I think, on the I Love Cats 200 Aggretsuko scale. Anyway, gamers, goodbye.